Hello everyone, you're welcome once more to NPH. I'm your tutor Mr. Official. If you're new to the channel, you're highly welcome. Do well to subscribe to the channel and share the link of this channel to some student, family, or even friends. Alright, so today we are going to look at still on numbers, in engineering maths. Now, one thing in mathematics is you need to be very good, you know, in the use of numbers, okay? Most especially in applying basic or arithmetic progressions numbers. And one other thing you must know again is how to apply your brackets when dealing with numbers and with basic operations. So today I'm going to be teaching you, the basic or fundamental knowledge that you need to know to step up your mathematics when it comes to numbers with respect to what brackets and basic operations. All right, so we have four basic operations or arithmetic operations. I'll quickly write them. The first one we have is addition, which also we also call it what sum. Now the sign is this plus. Now the second one we have is subtraction. We also call it difference. And the sign is this. Okay. Then we have what? Multiplication. Sign is this. And the fourth one we have is what? Division. And the sign is this. Okay, now in mathematics, you must be very, very good using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division with respect to numbers. And while you're doing that, you also have to know how to what? Use the brackets. Now let's talk about some of the uses of the bracket. The first use of the bracket is brackets are used around what? Negative numbers to separate what? The number. All right, what do I mean by that? That brackets are used around negative what? Numbers to separate brackets. Now, for instance, if I write 7 minus 2, okay, or if I have a 5 plus minus 3. Now, you don't want to write, okay, problems like this in maths or engineering maths. So all you need to do is you have to separate the negative what numbers. Now this is a negative number, okay? This is a negative number. So how do you separate them? You separate them by putting what? The brackets, okay? So most times brackets are used around what? Negative what? Numbers. And the next idea about brackets is you never write, you never need to write two, basic operation symbols without using a bracket. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, for instance, if I write on the board, let's say we have 8 multiplied by what? Minus 2. Or we have 6 divide what? Minus what? 2. Okay? Now, you don't have to write, two basic operation symbols like this without using a bracket. That is the next rule. So, what we need to do in this case is we are simply going to put our bracket. Remember the first rule, we say brackets are used to what? Cover what? Negative numbers. Okay, to separate what? The negative number from what? A particular basic what? Operation. So we are going to insert a bracket like this and also like this to separate what? Two what? Basic what? Operation symbols. And the next idea about the use of brackets is that brackets represent multiplication. Okay, for instance, if I have let's say 2 bracket or 3, this means 2 multiplied by what? 3. If I have 3 bracket, let's say minus 5, okay, this also means 3 multiplied by what? Minus 5. Now, if you can observe, there are two basic operation symbols I've just been able to use the bracket to cover. Now we can also do that with alphabets. If I have 4 multiply, let's say 8. So the bracket here means multiplication, so I can write this as 4 multiplied by what? 8. All right. We can also, say, we can also write, let's say, minus 5 multiply b, okay, which we can say is minus 5 multiplied by what? B. So these are your basic what uses of brackets once when it comes to what? Engineering mathematics. And next, we are going to look at the basic operations or arithmetic progressions. Now let's start with what? Addition and what? Subtraction. Okay. Now the idea is adding two numbers, okay, gives their sum, and then subtracting two numbers gives their difference. I will give examples. Okay. Now, when we say we should add, okay, two numbers, for instance, we will say, let's use some simple ones. Let's say 3 plus 2, okay. Let's say 4 plus 3, okay. 3, let's say 5 plus what? 4. Okay, what this simply means is this. For the first one, you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay. Now using your number line, so this is 3, okay, plus 2 means we are going to move 1, 2, okay, to the right. So anytime you're adding, you are increasing to the right. So we have 5 as our answer to this problem. What about for the second one? We have 4 plus 3. So all we need to do is, this is 4, we have to identify it. Plus 3 means we are moving to the right, just like we moved here. We are moving 3 times, so 1, 2, 3. Since we stopped at 7, the answer here becomes what? 7. Now what about the last one? Now for the last one, we are going to start from where? We are going to start from what? 5. Okay, and move towards our right. How many times? 4. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is the movement. We have moved 4 times. So we stop at what? 9. Okay, that's the basic idea for what? Addition. And let's also use what we have just done to work on what? Subtraction. Now for subtraction, let's say we have A, B, and C. Here we have 5 minus 2. We have 6 minus what? We have 6 minus 3, and we have 7 minus what? 7 minus 5. Okay. Now for subtraction or difference, all you're doing is you are what? You are moving to the what left if you have the number line. So let's say this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now for the first one, we have 2, 5 rather. So from 5, we are going to count back. Okay. So we are going to move 1, 2. Okay. So that gives us what? We have 3. What about for the next one? We have 6 minus 3. So we have to start from 6. And we are going to what? Remove 3. So we are moving back 1, 2, 3. Since we stopped at 3, 3 is the answer. What about 7 minus 5? Now, the difference between 7 and 5, which also means subtraction, is from 7, we are going to count back 5 times. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have our answer as what? 2. And the next thing we want to talk about is what? Multiplication. Alright, now whenever you multiply two numbers, you get their product. For instance, okay, for example, if I have 2 times 3, we have 6. So 6 is what? Their product. If I have 4 times 5, okay, it's 20. So 20 is called their product. And for the next one, if I have 8 times what? 4, which is 32. So 32 is their what? Product. Now we are going to look at some simple rules when it comes to what? Multiplication of what? Two numbers. when they have positive or negative what signs attached. And the rule is this: when you multiply two positive or negative numbers, your answer must always be what positive. I'll give an example. Now, if I have two positive numbers, say 3 times what 4, okay, my answer is 12. Now, this can be written as plus 3 multiplied by what? Plus what? 4. Now, but in this example, you observe that what is on our knowledge of brackets. I don't want to expose to basic operation what symbols like this. So I have to cover this. Okay. You can as well cover this. Okay. So now remember, like I said, when you're multiplying two positive numbers, this is positive, the answer always ends positive. So 3 times 4 is what? 12. Okay? So that gives us the answer to this what problem. Now, what about when you're multiplying two negative numbers? So for B, let's use the same numbers. If I have minus 3 multiplied by what? Minus 4. Now, what can you observe in this case? We have to make use of what? Our brackets. So I'm going to put brackets here. Okay, you can as well put a bracket here. Right? Because you don't want to expose to basic operation signs, okay, directly. So now, the rule says whenever you're multiplying two positive numbers or two negative numbers. And these are two positive numbers, we have positive as the answer. These are two negative numbers, so we also have positive as answer. So minus times minus is always plus. So 3 times 4 is what? 12. So don't forget the rule. Remember, when you are multiplying or you are multiplying to positive or to negative numbers, the answers should always end up positive. The next rule is on multiplication. We want to look at a scenario where one number is positive multiplying a negative number, or the number that starts is negative multiplying a positive number. Now, if you remember our rule, we want to cover this bracket because you don't want to expose to basic operation signs. Okay. Now, when you have this case, this is a positive number, this is a negative number, this negative 2 means a positive number, so your answers will always end with negative. So whenever there are two, different operations in terms of positive and negative, okay, your answer should always end with negative. So now you can multiply the numbers 4 times 2 is 8 and 4 times 2 is 8. And let us look at what division. Okay, there are some simple rules to division. Now for the first rule is if I have plus 4 divide what? Plus 2. Okay, we can write as 4 divided 2. All right, we can also write it in this form: plus 4 divide what? Plus 2. But in this form, you want to cover this, okay, based on our rule. All right, we know that this is going to give us what? 2. And this also is going to give us 2. Now, whenever you are dividing two positive numbers, your answer should always end in what? Positive. Okay. Now, for the second scenario is if you're dividing two negative numbers, okay, like this. All right. So this also means minus 4 divide in bracket what? Minus 2. Okay. Now, whenever you are dividing two negative numbers, the negatives can cancel out, or when they divide, it's going to become plus, and 4 divided by 2 is what? 2. This is one rule you want to keep in mind, that whenever you are dividing two positive numbers, your answer is positive, or when you're dividing two negative numbers, your answer is positive. And the last rule is this: whenever you are dividing, let's say we have a positive number and a negative number. Let's say we have 6 divide negative what 2. Or the second scenario, we have negative 6 divide what 3. Alright? Now this can be written as 6 divide what negative what 2. This can be written as minus 6 divide what 3. Now if we look at this, 6 is positive and 2 is negative. Okay? Here 6 is negative and 3 is positive. Now whenever you have a positive number dividing a negative number, your answer should be negative. So 2 divided 6 is 3. Now, this is a positive number dividing a negative number, so our answer will end negative. So 3 divided 6 is what? 2. So that is one rule you want to keep in mind. And the next rule when it comes to what division is when you have two positive numbers, let's say 8 divide what 2, and you have two negative numbers, minus 8 divide what minus 4. Okay, these are two positive numbers and these are two negative numbers. Okay, this can also be written as plus 8 divide plus 2. Okay, now whenever you have this scenario, okay, your answer ends positive. So 2 divided 8 is what? 4. So plus 4 we can also write simply as 4. Now this we can write as minus 8 divide, okay, minus 4 in brackets. Remember, you want to ensure that you cover the negative, okay, from what we have discussed. Now this, whenever you have two negative numbers dividing, your answer also is what? Positive. Now 4 divided 8 is what? 2. So this gives us the answer to this simple example. All right, to summarize, okay, now when two positive or negative numbers multiply, it gives a positive number, okay, from what we have done so far. Now, what does this statement mean? When two positive numbers multiply, let's start with that. So if I have plus 4 multiply plus what? 3, okay? So this will give us what? Positive what? Number as our answer. So plus times plus is plus, 4 times 3 is what? 12. So we can write this as just 12 or plus 12. Okay. Now for the second rule, when two negative numbers multiply, so if I have minus 4 times minus 3, this is going to give us minus times minus is plus, and 4 times 3 is what? 12. So take note, whenever you multiply two positive numbers or two negative numbers, your answer always ends with what? Positive. And the last rule, okay, just to end it up, is whenever you're multiplying and dividing a positive number by a negative number. So a positive number by a negative number. Okay, it gives you a negative number as its what? Answer. What do I mean by that? For the first case, let's say we have a positive number. So let's say we have plus 9 divide what? By a negative number, let's say minus what? 3. Now, whenever you have this case, your answer should always be what? Negative. Okay? So plus divide minus is minus, 3 divide 9 is what? 3. Okay? Now, what about in terms of multiplying? If I have what? 9 plus 9 multiplied by what? Minus 3. Okay? Now, we have a positive number multiplying what? A negative number. Our answer should be negative. Okay? So plus times minus is minus, and 9 times 3 is what? 27. That explains what this principle means. Now, as we continue in our subsequent videos, we'll be applying some of these principles. Try to watch this video again and again and gain mastery of this principle. Okay? So do well to hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll see you guys in my next video on what? Engineering mathematics.